ありがとうございました。
It all started on an ordinary afternoon when the calm rhythm of a small town was suddenly broken. A small supermarket, the kind everyone visited after work to pick up groceries for dinner, suddenly became the center of chaos. Two masked robbers stormed in, their voices echoing through the aisles, demanding money and terrifying everyone inside.
バックヤードに金庫あんだら持ってこいよ。
いやもうこれ以上お金ありません。落ち着いてください。いやもうないんです。
Within minutes, police surrounded the building, lights flashing, sirens wailing. But what no one expected was that this incident would soon become a lesson about courage, trust, and the strength of the human spirit.
おいなんだお前
おい何取ってんだお前。
やめなさい。お客様にお願いします。お客様の金魚。お願いします。
じゃあ金出せ。
もうこれ本当ないです。なんで本当ないです。
まだお金あんだろ。出せ。
お店にお金ないです。す
出せよ。
みません。やめてください。
はいよ出せ。
しました。
ありがとう。もしもし。
至急警視庁から各局世田谷区豊田南 B コンビニにおいて銃器所持人質立てこもり事件発生。交渉人至急対応頼む。
From the moment the call came in, Yui, a skilled negotiator from the Special Investigation Team, was on her way. She wasn't just a professional. She was someone deeply respected for her calmness and empathy. The kind of person who believed that even in the darkest moments, there's always a way to bring people back to reason.
はい、お次はな。
ありがとうございます。
14時、畑野現場到着しました。
As Yui arrived on the scene, the situation had grown tense.
おいそれ以上近づいたらこいつ殺すぞ。
The robbers were inside with several hostages, demanding a large ransom and a getaway car. The air was thick with uncertainty. Every second mattered. Yui knew that the lives inside depended not just on her words, but on her ability to understand what drove people to such desperate actions.
状況はますます悪化しています。犯人が人質を傷つける前に、まず犯人の心理を理解することが重要です。犯人が何を求めているか探ります。ただ武器を持っていてかなり危険な状態です。話し合いがうまくいくかどうか。でも信じてください。交渉は私の仕事ですから。
She took a deep breath before entering the supermarket, escorted by officers to the door.
私は畑野と言います。警視庁特殊捜査係の交渉班です。私とお話ししましょう。
何を話すってんだ。どうせ俺たちは捕まるんだよ。
俺たち？そうですか。仲間がいるんですね。何人ですか？
だっていいだろ。どうせ俺たちはここから出れねえんだ。
わかります。その状況はとても辛いですね。でもここで話し合うことができたら、あなたや人質の安全を確保できるかもしれません。
俺は本当は誰も傷つけたくない。だけど警察は俺を捕まえようとする。どうしたらいいんだよ。
まずあなたの求めてることを教えてください。私たちは話し合いで解決できる方法を探しています。
うるせえ。
待って、私を人質にして、私をこの建物の中に入れて、そこで話し合いましょう。
じゃあ入れ。
今から建物に入り、人質安全の確保、犯人制圧の交渉します。何かあれば特殊部隊にすぐ突入お願いします。
Once inside, she saw fear in the hostages' eyes, but also something else. Hope. Hope that she could bring them out safely.
勝手な動きをされちゃ困るんですよ、交渉人さん。
With her hands raised and her voice steady, she spoke gently to the robbers. She didn't yell, didn't argue. Instead, she started with empathy, asking if anyone was hurt, trying to make them see her not as an enemy, but as a bridge to peace. But the negotiations didn't go smoothly. One of the robbers was nervous, impulsive, his hands shaking. The other, colder and more controlled, seemed to be the one in charge. Time was slipping away, and outside, tension grew. Yui's every word was measured, her every movement deliberate. She knew that one wrong gesture could spark disaster. Hours passed. The demands remained the same. The robbers refused to let anyone go, but Yui stayed calm. Even as she herself became one of the hostages, she never lost focus. She believed that words, not weapons, could end this standoff. And deep inside, she began to see small signs of doubt in one of the robber's eyes. A crack in his resolve. A glimpse of the humanity still buried beneath fear.
俺ら大丈夫ですかね、こんなことして。
なんだお前、急に怖くなったのか。なんだ弱虫だな。大丈夫だ、逃げりゃいいんだよ、逃げりゃ。ちょっと俺トイレ行ってくるわ。こっちらのこと見張っててくれよ。お前らおとなしくしてるよな。おとなしくしてるよ。
ねえ、あなたの今の状況がどれだけ辛いか理解してるわ。助けが必要ならどうか一緒に考えましょう。話してみて、本当の気持ち。
いやよ、 父親の医療費を稼いで借金が増えて、最初は店長の復讐のつもりでやったんだけどよ。
そうだったのね。でも助けを求めることは恥ずかしいことじゃないわ。警察に助けを求めて、そしたらあなたが安全に出られる方法があるかもしれない。ね、大丈夫だから。
そうだよ。おいおい、店長いねえぞ。
どこ行ったよ。逃げたんじゃねえのか、おい。
マジですか。あの野郎。
おい、探しに行くよ。お前ら動くなよ。じっとしとけよ。私はな。
なんだあいつ。
どこに逃げた。いないみたいだな。ここじゃないんじゃないかな。向こうじゃないか。
なんか落としたな。
ああ。
てめえはどこまで普通なんだよ。逃げやがって。
Meanwhile, at home, her husband Kenji, a retired special agent, watched the live coverage on television. When he heard Yui's voice through the speakers, calm yet strained, he knew something was wrong. He had been in her position once. He knew that kind of tension in her tone. Without hesitation, he called the investigation agency, offering his assistance. But official procedures made it impossible for him to act, at least not directly.
どうしてこんなことになってるんですか。
私たちも全力で対応しております。人質の身の安全を最優先に動いております。はい、それは確認できております。それと犯人があなたをここに来させろとのことでして、私たち警察としてはあなたを巻き込むわけにはいかないと思っております。
And that's when he made a decision that would change everything. Kenji decided to take matters into his own hands. Kenji secretly infiltrates a tense supermarket hostage scene to aid his wife Yui. Using silent teamwork and calm dialogue, they rescue hostages until Kenji's presence is discovered, igniting the final confrontation. Yui and Kenji calmly diffuse the tense standoff with empathy and trust, convincing the robbers to surrender peacefully and end the crisis. The robbers were taken into custody, peacefully. No one was harmed. The hostages were safe. And as the town returned to its peaceful rhythm, in that moment, their teamwork, their trust, spoke louder than any words could. Later that evening, the chief commended them both for their courage. But for Yui and Kenji, it wasn't about medals or headlines. It was about something deeper. The belief that even in the darkest moments, empathy and understanding can save lives where force cannot. And as the town returned to its peaceful rhythm, one message lingered in the hearts of everyone who witnessed that day. Courage isn't about fighting. It's about standing firm for what's right, with compassion, calm, and hope. Because true strength is never about surrendering to fear. It's about never surrendering to the loss of humanity.